Welcome, everybody. Today is the second day of our e-TEP webinars, and today we're going to mainly focus on writing and speaking. As for the materials, I will send you these materials that today we will be using. So the first one, as you can see on our screen, is, let me make sure, is writing task 1. So we talked that in e-TEP you have 2 writings, at least it was like this in the last exam. So the first one is easier than the second one. In the handout that ÖSYM prepared, it is written that this is B1 level. But in order to get higher score, of course, you need to write B2 or C1 level, if you can, of course. And yeah, a little bit high level in order to get a good mark. The first task is the shorter one, based on the time and how many words you should write. It is a shorter one. The first one is, I have chosen 2 topics for today. The first one is social media and mental health. So here, what do you see? You see a post. The post is called Digital Balance. It's on the website of Digital Balance or like blog. So you read it, of course, analyze, try to understand everything. Then you are going to read a comment to this blog. Then you read your task, what to do. Then write an answer accordingly, what they ask from you. This part actually is a task part. Task part means that what you need to do. Your task. Actually, it is written, your task. So what you are going to do. You should be careful about it. So let's do as follows. First, I'm going to read the post and we will be analyzing it. Social media platforms were once meant to connect us, but they are becoming tools of comparison and stress. Constant exposure to filtered lifestyles and unrealistic standards affects self-esteem and increases anxiety. It's important to be mindful of how these apps impact your mental well-being. And Liam is commenting on it. Let's read it. I don't agree completely. Social media has helped many people stay connected with friends and family, especially during hard times. It depends on how you use it. If you follow positive accounts or stay in touch with loved ones, it can actually make you feel better. Why only focus on the negative side? If you pay attention to Liam's tone, it's absolutely everyday talk. It's not, there is nothing academic, and academic style is not followed by using don't together. In academic style, according to academic style, we do not use contractions in writing. We have to write do not separately. So, as it's a comment on a blog, it's not academic and no problem. But try not to use contractions because it is writing anyway. And your task, what it asks from you. It says, post your own comment expressing and supporting your view effectively and relating both the post and the comment. So here we need to pay attention to both of them. And we need to analyze post and comment. What's the relationship between them? Can anyone help me? And I'm trying to get your questions. Yeah. In Q&A part, can you help me with the relationship? Does the comment support the blog, or does it contradict it? What does it do? Let me show it again. Just write it in a Q&A part, please. I can read your answer there as well. It would be better. Yeah, exactly. Opposite. So let me just sorry. Yes, now. So social media were once meant to connect us, but they are becoming tools of comparison and stress. So here we have, but this part is good, but this part says no, negativity. Constant exposure. The connotation of this word means that it's not good again. To filtered lifestyle, unrealistic standards, and affects self-esteem. So it has really like psychological impact on us and increases anxiety. Even it can lead to some diseases. It's important to be mindful and mental well-being. Here, she directly says, I don't agree. So you need to, in your writing, both deal with this part and say that this part, Liam, is against it, doesn't favor it. Okay, now here we have our task is to write between 80 and 120 words. So it means that somewhere 100 something will be good. It depends on you how many words you can write. And of course here on the right hand side of your screen, you will see word counts. So you don't need to count, it counts itself. You have 15 minutes for this task. Is it enough? Yeah, it is enough. For 15 minutes, you can write this number of words. And suggested B2 level answer. B2 is not the highest one. It is like, let's say, 4, but it's not lowest one as well. So I'm going to read it, and I'm trying to arrange this one. I'm so sorry. Yeah. While, so we have contrast word at the beginning of our sentence. While Liam makes a good point about the benefits of social media, I agree more with the original post. So, original post actually did what? Said it has negative effect. Social media can be helpful, but only if used carefully. The problem is that many people, especially teenagers, compare themselves to influencers with perfect lives. Even if we try to follow positive accounts, the pressure to look good or be successful is always there. I think we need to learn how to take breaks and set limits. Otherwise, social media can slowly damage our self-image and mental health. It is not about stopping completely, but about being more aware of what we consume online. Now, let's a little bit analyze this answer. First sentence introduces both topic, so you need to introduce both topic. The first part, Liam's part, Good point. And second part is benefits of the social media. So Liam didn't talk about, Liam did talk about the benefits of social media. So this is the first part. I agree is your own point of view. So you need to show your point of view because it says, write your own comment, either support your view effectively relating to both post and the comment. So you should show that you are agreeing with the other part, not Liam. That's why we used why, the first sentence. But if you go further, you see that the writer doesn't talk about Liam anymore. And it's okay. It is good because you're going to express your own opinion, own ideas. And if you say that, I agree more with the original post. And now here you explain it. Social media can be helpful, but only if used carefully. And you're putting conditional. Now, in English, when we speak, first we talk about general things. We speak about something generally, then we go into detail. General, specific. Here as well, as you can see, I agree more with the original post. What original post said? It said that social media is bad. Especially now the details, why it is not good. If used carefully, the problem is that many people, especially teenagers, compare themselves to influencers. So now here we can see the details why social media can be negative. And the writer explains with other sentences and with other sentences. Now let's have a look at the grammar part. What sentences can you use to get higher score? I mean, B2 here is 4, like. So how can you do it? If you look at the sentences, first sentence is while. It means it is contrast sentence. Is it compound? It is compound or complex sentence, so it means that you need to use the same kind of sentences. First, compound sentence. Then you have comma, but, compound sentence. You don't have simple sentences. The problem is that many people, especially teenagers, you have extra information here. Even if, again, compound sentence, I mean complex sentence, conditional complex sentence. And I think we need to learn how to take breaks, again, compound or complex sentence. So you don't have any simple sentences. Otherwise, conjunction, again, it is not about stopping completely, again, compound sentence, but. So you don't have simple sentence. Why? What does it mean? What is my point here? If you use simple sentences, what will happen? Simple sentences will get you maximum maybe 1 or 2, score 1 or 2. And it will look like even not B1. Because if you remember from your grammar lessons, which who that sentences which are relative clause, in grammar, it is in B1 class. So what does it mean? It means that if you use only simple sentences like one subject, one verb, object, and adverb, it will be absolutely A2 level, which is absolutely not good for your writing. Then what to do? To use compound sentences, complex sentences. And what about vocabulary? If you look at the vocabulary, in the e-TEP has, let me open that document I want to show you. Yes. So here you can see this chart down below, this ones. So when you are graded, you get grades on task completion, grammar, vocabulary, and fluency, and pronunciation. This is about speaking. Let's go to writing. When you prepare, you need to take into account this thing. That is my content good? Is my grammar higher level? Is my vocabulary okay? And coherence and cohesion. Well, I will speak about them. For example, let's say for. In for, content either refer explicitly to both the post and the comment to a large extent in their own words or refers explicitly. So here, this word explicitly is very important. Explicitly means that you are clearly explaining what you are writing. And to do it, of course, you directly need grammar part and vocabulary. A relatively high degree of grammatical accuracy. If you have error-free sentences mostly, it doesn't mean that you will have all sentences correct. It's not possible. If you have more error-free sentences, of course you can get 4. Show control of vocabulary part. Show control of a good range of vocabulary and on general topics. What does it mean? And appropriate collocation. This part is also important. What does it mean? Topic-related vocabulary. For example, what Liam or the writing is about. Our writing is about social media impact. So you need to use some specific vocabulary to social media or whatever topic you have. For example, if you have let's say environmental topic, you need to write some environmental vocabulary. You need to use them. Then coherence and cohesion. What does it mean? In a simple way, it means that the reader will read your essay and that person will understand it. How? The structure is clear. You have some paragraphs and paragraphs are separate. There is some space between them. So it's understandable what is your introduction, what is your body paragraph, what is your conclusion. Of course, in writing 1, it's not possible. You have only 1 paragraph because it's a comment. But in writing 2, that I'm going to explain, you have some paragraphs. So that's why coherence means that, is it understandable? Is it logical? Is your writing logical? So do you start from general topic and as you go further, do you go into details? Because it is the normal thing in English we do. Then cohesion, you have to use some cohesive devices. And cohesive devices, for example, if you're writing 2 contradictory, as in our text, 2 contradictory topics, you need to use contradiction linking words. For example, on the other hand, in contrast, however, nonetheless, nevertheless, but you need to be careful about punctuation. After all the After all of them, we use what? We use comma. And unfortunately, students forget about comma. Don't do it. If you write however, put comma. If you write moreover, put comma. Whatever you write, just write comma after them. It's very important. Now, a variety of cohesive devices. What does it mean? It means that are you repeating however, or moreover throughout your writing? It is not correct. It means that you only know one thing. So please use synonyms. Moreover, furthermore, in addition, additionally, also. Even you can use those simple ones as well. Also is not bad. You can also use it. Yes, this is how to analyze your writing. Now let's have a look at another writing, but again, one. And you have 15 minutes for this one again. Actually, I'm repeating myself, but one is not difficult. Just don't be in a hurry because of part 2, and at the cost of you can get lower score at the cost of part 2. Don't do it. Just 15 minutes to this one, 30 minutes to that one. 30 minutes is okay for the second one. So the topic is online learning versus traditional education. Post from Future Learning today. It is the, let's say, some blog name. Online learning is the future. It offers flexibility, lower costs, and access to high-quality materials from anywhere in the world. Traditional classrooms cannot compete with this level of freedom and personalization. We should invest more in improving digital education instead of old-fashioned systems. So it is 100% supporting, backing up the online learning. Comment from Ayesha. I'm not sure, again, contraction, if you see, we use contraction in normal everyday talk, but not in writing. But here it's comment, it's okay, but you don't do, please. I'm not sure. Learning online can be hard for many people. It's easy to lose focus or feel alone without classmates or teachers nearby. Not everyone has the discipline or environment to study well at home. In-person learning helps with motivation and social skills too. In-person learning means in classroom. Now, suggested answer, B2, sorry. Let's again have a look at the relationship. Again, it contradicts. What about you? What do you think? Yeah, let's read it. Both the post and Ayesha raise valid points. Online learning offers great opportunities, especially for people who live in remote areas or have busy schedules. However, I agree with Ayesha that it can be difficult to stay focused and motivated without real-life interaction. Some students need a structured environment and direct support from teachers. Also, group activities and classroom discussions teach social skills that online courses often lack. I think the best solution is a hybrid system that combines online flexibility with in-person support. This way, we can get the best of both worlds. Now, let's analyze a little bit. First of all, the first sentence has valid points. Valid here is acknowledging, and it has positive connotation. So you are accepting both of them and agreeing with both of them. And so it means that you're going to write about both of them. That's why at the end it is hybrid, as the person agrees with both of them. And what I want to mention here is, however, I agree with Ayesha, but this person acknowledges both, but agrees with the one side. That's why used opposition. Then you have also why? Because you are adding to your previous idea. You are taking the second part and second side and adding to it. I think it is very important to put your own opinion as well and use some opinion expressions. I think, I believe, I would argue is also possible, but I would argue is too academic for this part. That's why I think, I believe is okay. And look at the last sentence. This way we can get the best of both worlds. So this is a wrap-up sentence. So wrap up. It means that you are concluding your writing. It is too short. This writing is too short. There are almost 100 words. So that's why we cannot write extra, like, let's say, conclusion paragraph. It will be a little bit not suitable. So, but wrap-up sentence, which means the concluding sentence, would be really, really good. It means that you are aware that you are going to finish your writing. So that's why it is good. Look at the words, vocabulary, please. Valid points. Do you remember we talked about collocation? ÖSYM says if you have good collocations, you will get higher score. Collocation means, I'm sure most of you know, 2 words or 3 words work together. They are natural together. Valid point. Great opportunity. Busy schedules. Okay. Busy schedules, great opportunities, valid points, remote area. Real life interaction, very, very nice word. Location. Direct support. And so on and so forth. So what does it mean? In one of our lessons, we had a question. Is it a good idea to learn ready essays? And my students said yes. No, it is not a good idea. But what is a good idea? Good idea is to learn these collocations because, yeah, there are some collocation books, but actually I have read them myself, but it is not that useful. It is difficult to apply them for my students. So that's why I encourage you to read such essays. There are millions of ready essays on the web, but of course you need to know which essays to read, which writers to read. I'm sure you can guess it. I'm sure you can get it, understand it yourself. So take them and learn this kind of collocations. And also there is one good website about collocations. I will show you. Yeah, it takes time, it takes more effort, but some students really love English. That's why I think that they will find it helpful. So it is called OSDIC. OSDIC. So this is collocation dictionary. So whatever word you write, for example, let's say aligned, and it gives you which words can it work together. And it didn't work. Yeah, for example, development. What kind of development? Gradual development, rapid development, sustainable development. And also you have some sentences. It really is development plus verb, development plus noun, phrases, etc. So it is going to be really, really helpful. It is ozdik.com. And also, ÖSYM says about vocabulary. Control of good range of vocabulary on general topics and appropriate collocation expressions. It is very important. Collocations are very important. Yes, up to here, any questions, please? And if we look at the grammar, again, you have only compound or complex sentences. Reliable essay reading. Very good question. Thank you for asking. I think B2 level will get 3.5 or 4 because the highest point is C1, as you know. So I think 3.5 or 4 it can get. A good, as you know, e-TEP is something new, so we don't have any reliable resources about it. But I can suggest some TOEFL teachers or some IELTS teachers, very well known. One of them is Liz. Everybody knows her, I'm sure. Liz is one of the greatest teachers ever. She has very good website. L-I-Z, it is IELTS. Also, you can read Simon, S-I-M-O-N, but sometimes his lessons are paid, sometimes free. And there was one more. Let me remember. I also recommended. As soon as I remember, I will tell you. Okay, so this is the easiest part. Let's go to a little bit more difficult one. Why difficult, actually? It's not that difficult, but as you go further, as you progress during your exam, levels get higher. So based on the ÖSYM handouts, I'm saying this one, it is C1 level. So what is it? You have a chart and you have to listen to one podcast and again find the relationship between them and write about it. So generally your structure is this one, writing section 2. You are given a topic, environmental action versus public behavior. Examine a given graph. So look at the graph, understand it. Actually, you have enough time to do it. They give you enough time to do it. Examine the graph, then listen to related podcast and produce a written text that connects information from both sources. First of all, you are going to, the steps are like this. You are going to analyze it. You have enough time for it. Then you listen to this podcast, take notes. When you listen to the podcast, it is, the convenience is, in the podcast, they are going to talk about each of this, about recycling, reducing plastic use, and so on. So that's why it's not that difficult. So taking good notes is really important. Do not try to write longer sentences, longer words. Try to use some symbols. For example, addition, you just put plus. Don't just work out some symbols for yourself. It is helpful. Now, the instruction will be like this. You are a student attending a course on sustainable development. Your professor shares the following graph for you to analyze. You also listen to a podcast episode, Green Talk, Gray Action. It is the title of the podcast. Now, before the podcast, let's analyze it together. So, our chart has vertical line, showing percentage of something here. Then you have horizontal, which shows the keys, we call them keys, or let's say some environmental actions. Then here we have keys, green and gray, support as important, actually practicing. Then you have the title, environmental action, what people say versus what they do. So it means that green part is they support as important, so people support it as important. Actually practicing is gray one. And when you look at this chart, you see that green ones are always higher than what actually is being done. So you're analyzing. And are the percentages exact? No. For example, it is 80 something, so you don't see it. So you're going to use actually approximation language if you need, almost nearly kind of things. But I don't think you need them a lot because you are not comparing them in percentages. Mostly understand what they show and which one is higher, which one is lower, and what are the names. Names are, sections are recycling and reducing plastic use and choosing sustainable products, reducing car usage, supporting climate policy. And after understanding it, learning it, studying it, what do? You listen the podcast. You do not click, it plays itself because you are given limited amount of time. Now, as I analyzed it, I will play it and I want you to take notes. Then you are going to share your notes, okay? And if it is difficult for you to catch everything, I hope it wouldn't be the case, but if it is, I can play twice. And I will try to play twice, but in the exam you have only one chance. Okay, now let's listen to it. Get pen and paper, please, because I'm going to ask you about the notes, your notes. It doesn't work. Why? I don't know. Just a second. Sometimes it happens. By the way, it is called integrated. Integrated means that you are joining two things together and producing something new. In our case, we are joining, first of all, understanding the relationship between the chart and the listening. Then we will join them together, and it is called integrated. Now I am playing it, please. Just tell me, can you hear it?
Green Talk, Gray Action. Hello, and welcome to Social Climate. I'm Dr. Martin Fielder, environmental sociologist. In today's episode, we're examining the persistent and often troubling disparity between people's professed environmental values and their real-world actions, a phenomenon clearly illustrated in recent behavioral data. Let's start with recycling. According to surveys, close to 90% of individuals consider it essential, yet only about 60% engage in the practice consistently. This disconnect often stems not from a lack of awareness, but from infrastructural and logistical barriers. When recycling bins are hard to access or sorting guidelines are unclear, intention quickly gives way to inaction. The pattern continues with single-use plastics. While over 80% express concern about plastic pollution, fewer than 50% actively reduce their plastic consumption. At this point, it's less about knowledge deficits and more about entrenched habits and convenience. We see a similar dynamic in consumer choices. Roughly 3/4 support buying sustainable products, but only a third follow through regularly. The gap reveals that eco-conscious consumption often collides with price sensitivity, brand loyalty, or limited availability. One of the most striking gaps is in car usage. Although around 70% acknowledge the need to drive less for environmental reasons, only 20% report doing so. The comfort, speed, and structural car dependency of many urban environments make behavioral change particularly difficult here. Finally, support for climate policy remains high. Nearly 90% endorse it in principle, but practical commitment drops sharply, with less than half demonstrating consistent support when costs, like taxes or price increases, are involved. This suggests a level of conditional commitment, support that weakens when personal sacrifice is required. So what can we take from this? The data reveal a pervasive attitude-behavior gap. People say the right things, but struggle to act accordingly. While environmental messaging has improved public awareness, it hasn't translated into consistent behavior. Ultimately, education alone isn't sufficient. If we truly want to shift environmental behavior at scale, we must redesign systems, from transportation to waste management to market incentives, so that sustainable choices are more accessible, more affordable, and ideally, the default.
Yes, so only once. So how much could you write? In TOEFL, we have the same thing as well, and that's why we have so many lessons to teach note-taking. It's a skill actually, and we have maybe 10 lessons to teach students how to take notes. Why am I saying it? Because it means that taking notes is not just, take notes. It's not just this one. Taking notes need some practice and need some skills. You need to learn it. How? Of course, practicing. It is only practicing can help you. Using symbols, practicing, but what to pay attention, so many details the person gives. And that's why it's difficult to concentrate on the listening and on the writing at the same time. I can understand it is a little bit difficult. That's why it's a little bit difficult. So what you are going to do, you are going to write 200, between 200 and 300 words. But what is interesting, this one, maximum word limit is 330. For example, in IELTS, if you want, you can write 700. And there was one teacher who wrote 700 words. It's okay if you can, but there is no upper limit. But here you have upper limit. Be careful about it. But I like it. Why? Because some students try to write a lot, and when you write a lot in a limited time, in 30 minutes time, you may make lots of mistakes. So that's why I like this idea. So you have upper limit, don't go over. If you see that, yes, you have already written 250 up to 300 and you could explain everything, come back, read your writing. It is really, really important. It is more important than anything. So when you read your writing, you will see that you have made some silly mistakes. We call them silly mistakes, such as dropping article a. Or, for example, instead of writing apple, you have written apple. So it happens. We are human beings. It's natural for us to make this kind of mistakes. That's why when you read it, or let's say instead of so, you have written C. That's why it is very important to come back, reread your writing, correct any mistakes you have, which increases your band score higher. That's why please do it. Now, We will listen again, but before listening, I want to answer to some questions. Then we will listen again. I will give you this opportunity. Then we will discuss it together. Yes. Yeah, podcast is describing the, not actually describing, but podcast is based on the chart, as you could already hear it. Yes. Can we I want to answer to this question. Somebody asked, can we choose just one opinion and try to explain why it is reasonable or acceptable rather than mentioning both ideas? I think it's about writing one. Yes, you can choose one, talk about it, or you can both talk about it, write about it actually. Yeah, you can do any of them. The teachers that I mentioned, Liz and Simon, they have YouTube lessons, they have websites as well. Yeah. Okay, I don't want to miss any question. Okay. Now, please, let's listen again, take notes, then I will ask you about your notes, what you could take. Okay.
Green talk, gray action. Hello, and welcome to Social Climate. I'm Dr. Martin Fielder, environmental sociologist. In today's episode, we're examining the persistent and often troubling disparity between people's professed environmental values and their real-world actions, a phenomenon clearly illustrated in recent behavioral data. Let's start with recycling. According to surveys, close to 90% of individuals consider it essential, yet only about 60% engage in the practice consistently. This disconnect often stems not from a lack of awareness, but from infrastructural and logistical barriers. When recycling bins are hard to access or sorting guidelines are unclear, intention quickly gives way to inaction. The pattern continues with single-use plastics. While over 80% express concern about plastic pollution, fewer than 50% actively reduce their plastic consumption. At this point, it's less about knowledge deficits and more about entrenched habits and convenience. We see a similar dynamic in consumer choices. Roughly 3/4 support buying sustainable products, but only a third follow through regularly. The gap reveals that eco-conscious consumption often collides with price sensitivity, brand loyalty, or limited availability. One of the most striking gaps is in car usage. Although around 70% acknowledge the need to drive less for environmental reasons, only 20% report doing so. The comfort, speed, and structural car dependency of many urban environments make behavioral change particularly difficult here. Finally, support for climate policy remains high. Nearly 90% endorse it in principle, but practical commitment drops sharply, with less than half demonstrating consistent support when costs, like taxes or price increases, are involved. This suggests a level of conditional commitment, support that weakens when personal sacrifice is required. So what can we take from this? The data reveal a pervasive attitude-behavior gap. People say the right things, but struggle to act accordingly. While environmental messaging has improved public awareness, it hasn't translated into consistent behavior. Ultimately, education alone isn't sufficient. If we truly want to shift environmental behavior at scale, we must redesign systems, from transportation to waste management to market incentives, so that sustainable choices are more accessible, more affordable, and ideally, the default.
Okay, now please your notes. What could you get? Mhm. Yes, of course. We speak higher every time. Yeah. Any ideas? Any notes, please? Imagine yourself in an exam. What will you do? But money issues is the person didn't talk about it exactly. So, okay, good. Now, I will show you the transcript of this. Why? Because, let me read more. Yeah, social dilemma. Persistent recent behavioral change, not sufficient, etc. Good. Yes, exactly. Infrastructure needed. Very good explanations. Very good. Okay, so actually we need to be analyzer. It's a little bit difficult. Okay, so here is a transcript. Why I opened it? Because I want to look at the words, vocabulary, because ÖSYM says it is C1, and as you can see, let's take one color like this. Okay, environmental sociologist phenomenon. I'm sure you know this word. Most of my students know. So, infrastructural and logistical barrier. There were some plastic consumption. No, there were some rare words. Entrenched habits. Eco-conscious. Very good word. Eco-conscious. Attitude behavior gap. Public awareness. So all are what? All are collocation. Again, and these words are B2, C1 level vocabulary. In order to understand it, the talking, the podcast, we need to know their meaning. What about in writing? Can we use the words that we heard? Maybe you can use, but the result is like this. This person doesn't know a lot of words. This person doesn't know a lot of synonyms. So, for example, if you use the word collide or conscious you cannot change because it's specific word, but you can change guideline. You can change some affordable behavioral data. Behavioral, it's difficult. Disparity, you can 100% change. So what does it mean? It means that if you use the same words, but it is still plus. Why? Because you know how to use this word. But again, if you use the same word, it's not good. Try to change it into their synonyms. That's why when you learn, please learn words with some synonyms. What is the problem learning vocabulary and its Turkish version? It is good to understand them, but it is better to learn them in English. After learning English Turkish, first learn English Turkish in order to understand them because it's not your language, it's a different language. So then start learning them in English setting. It means that in a sentence, in a text, readings. So that's why when you read them in readings, it will be easier to use them. So now we're going to read one sample answer. It's high-level sample answer, like C1, B2 C1. So how we are going to write? Actually, it is not like opinion essay. I think last time I said opinion essay. It's not opinion essay. Opinion essay was before. They used to have it, then they changed. So it is absolutely, it is not opinion essay. Forget about it. So let's see the structure. Because you have something said drawn here and something said in the podcast. So let's see what is the what essay says. the graph and the podcast, Green Talk, Gray Action, both highlight the large gap between what people say about the environment and what they actually do. Difficult word, difficult sentence? No. Dr. Martin Fielder in the podcast, you can use it, podcast, calls this the attitude behavior gap, where many individuals support environmental actions in theory, but far fewer, it means people, practice them regularly in real life. For example, recycling, first point. So this part, the first part is introduction. You are introducing the topic. You are introducing that you looked at graph, then you get pencil. Okay, so you show that, you introduce that you saw the graph and you listen to the podcast title, but title should be in what? In quotation marks, because you are using the same thing from the given material and you need to use this quotation mark. Both highlight the large gap between blah blah, and you are telling what person who tells what. Dr. Martin calls this attitude behavior. It is his word, that's why again quotation mark, don't forget. It means that you are using his words in the same way. You're not changing, but it's not his sentence, it is his word. You can do it. So you are introducing the topic. Then you are starting writing about recycling. We said that where many individuals support environmental actions in theory, but far few practice them regularly in real life. This part shows you beginning of the topic, that what happened. This happened, this happened. Now, this part is general. It is the general part. But this part is already specific. You are going into a specific part. For example, recycling, one column. Recycling is seen as important by almost approximation 90% of people, as shown in the graph. However, only about 60% actually recycle often. The podcast explains that this difference is often due to practical issues. If recycling bins are not available or the system is confusing, people simply don't do it. So it shouldn't be like this. Let me change it. So there is academic style in English. So according to this one, we cannot write them together. So I missed it. Do not do it. A similar situation is seen with plastic use. So the first one, the second one. A similar situation is seen with the plastic use. Over 80% say reducing plastic is important, but less than 50% follow through. This is not because they don't care, but because of habits and convenience. People are used to using plastic, and changing that takes extra effort. When it comes to choosing sustainable products, about 75% support the idea, but only a third actually buy them. According to the podcast, cost and availability are major reasons for this gap. Sustainable products are often more expensive or harder to find. Section 3, they explain both the chart and the podcast. The next one. The biggest gap is in reducing car use. While 70% agree it is necessary, only 20% actually drive less. This shows how difficult it is to change behavior when the current system, like public transportation or city planning, doesn't support those choices. Finally, while almost 90% support climate policy, fewer than half show real support when it involves personal cost. This shows that people care, but their actions depend on how much they have to sacrifice. This is the final part. And six is what? Six is the conclusion, or we can say summary. Overall, it's to introduce summary part. The podcast and graph clearly show that better systems, not just education, are needed to turn green talk into real action. And we heard this part in the Green Talk podcast as well. So this is how to write your writing task 2. So we are just describing this together with the podcast. If you look at the vocabulary, we do not have extra difficult vocabulary. Availability, for example, convenience. I cannot see any difficult words. Most of them are B2 level, normal words. Now look at the grammar a little bit. So as we are describing the same thing, it means that mostly we will use almost the same structure. So how to make your structures different? The first one starts with, for example, recycling here is gerund. Gerund in what? In the subject function. Recycling is sin, and passive. Passive is B2 level grammar, so it's a higher level. As important by almost, it's not exactly 9%, it is almost. And the next one, only about 60% actually recycle often. Here we have normal simple sentence, simple present we have. The podcast explains present simple, but it is a complex sentence. Again, gerund are not available. It's normal adjective. Passive voice is in. Say reducing plastic is important. Again, gerund. People are used to using. It is, we use used to in two meanings to speak about the past habits, like regular actions in the past, and we don't do it anymore. But in that case, we don't use gerund after it. Here we use gerund. It means that people are used to using plastics. It means that people are accustomed to it. It's not strange for them. And please, when you use gerund here, you need to use gerund after and as well. It should be homogeneous. Your sentence should have homogeneous grammar. Gerund, noun, noun. If you continue, you will see while sentence, and you have compound sentence with but, which is fanboys if you haven't forgotten. So that is your writing task 2. Now, your ideas about it, your opinions about task 2. Is it difficult? Is it average or exactly? Please don't use contraction if you are writing academic writing. It is called academic style. For example, there is another thing in academic style. From 1 to 10, up to 10, you need to write in words according to this academic style. You cannot write 1, 2 in your writing. So it's also academic style. Then don't. I will also correct my writings as well. No, do not. And even it is good for you. You have 2 words now. But if you write it together, contraction, you have only 1 word. So for you, it is better to use it. Yes, good question. If the podcast and the speaker says different things, then you are going to use contraction, while the speaker says this, professor says this, or somebody says this. Podcast contradicts it, casts doubt on, argues that, claims that, etc. kind of words you are going to use. You think difficult to combine? Yes. And you know what is difficult? To remember all the listenings. So what to do? While writing, first time, just you have enough time. I think you have enough time. First time when you write, just write a draft in order not to forget anything. Of course, you are given a piece of paper and a pencil, so you can make notes. But when you listen and you didn't lose some time on to think about vocabulary, to think about what grammar am I going to use, in order not to lose your information about it. So first time, just write down a draft very quickly. Then come back and perfect your writing. Change the words into synonyms. First time, don't bother yourself if you use the same word as in the listening. So it's not a problem. Later you can come back. Somebody said instead of behavior, we can say manner. Yeah. So first time write behavior, then come back and change it. It's possible. And 30 minutes is really enough, I think. I generally complain about time, but this time I will not. No, unfortunately, only once we have. In any exam, we don't have a chance to listen twice, except from Cambridge exams. And it's not popular, I think, in Turkey. It is called first, it is called C1 proficiency exam, C2 proficiency exam. It is special Cambridge exam. It's in England, they do it. Yeah. In that case, we have opportunity to listen 2 times, but not in these exams, only once. Yes, that's all for writing. I will, actually, I have a link where you can download these things or have a look at these things, but I don't know if I can do it now or not. After the lesson, maybe I can do. And here I have another topic for you. It's artificial intelligence in education. We will not do it. It will be extra, like example for you. At home, you can analyze it, work on it, and it has the answer as well. Transcript for the podcast in order to work on it. Maybe you can get some vocabulary as well. You can learn some vocabulary from here as well. And it's extra like homework for you to read and analyze it. Yeah, that's all about writing. And in the next session, after 10 minutes, we will take break time for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, we're going to have speaking. First, I will explain you what speaking is, what to use, what is the structure. Then I will ask you to speak if you want. Of course, I will be happy to volunteers. Let's take 10 minutes break time, please, then come back. Let's continue. I promised to show you one more resource. This is how to do IELTS. As I said, e-TEP doesn't have. So I'm going to show you this one. It's a great teacher, previous examiner, ex-examiner. So he has so many writings here, listening, reading, etc. You can go to writing and you can choose any topic and you can read the essay. What does it help? First of all, this is written essay, the question, the written essay. Then analysis, the person analyzes it, the teacher himself analyzes it. Then the great thing is here, vocabulary. So you have the vocabulary. So it's great resource to use. How to do IELTS. I hope you could see it. Yes, okay. Now we are going to move on to speaking section. So how many speakings do you have? Actually, you have 3 of them, but the first one is called zero, speaking zero, which means you are going to talk, but you will not be evaluated. You will not get any score on it. So why do you have it? It's a warm-up. So they give it to you to get used to it. Actually, our brain works like this. 15 minutes, we have some accustoming time. So we get accustomed to something in 15 minutes, especially speaking. So before going to the exam, speak for 15 minutes or listen to English in 15 minutes. So this is very important. So the first one, duration. Maybe the times can be a little bit different, but I have written what I remember. 45 seconds to prepare the answer after seeing the general question. It was about talk about yourself when we had the exam. So about general topic, you're going to think 45 seconds to prepare and 60 seconds to speak. Then you are going to be evaluated on speaking 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 are independent, which means they're going to ask you a question and you will answer, you will answer that question. But the third one is that difficult one. It's not quite difficult, actually. After some practice, you will be able to do it. So again, for speaking 1 and 2, which are independent ones, you spend 45 seconds to prepare, take notes. It doesn't mean that you are going to write sentences. It's not possible. The time is too short. But you may take some notes, and I will show you some structure. You will take the notes according to that structure. This speaking 2 is the same with speaking 1. Different question, of course. Speaking 3 is integrated, which means that you are going to watch a video. A video, I have written 2 minutes, but it can be 1 minute and a half. It can be 2 minutes and a half. Videos are from TRT World. That's why I always say, please open TRT World channel all day long, listen to it. Even if you are doing another thing, let it play in the background. Why? Because your ears are getting used to it. That's why it's very important. Helpful, actually. Yeah, you're going to see a short clip. Then you will have 60 seconds to prepare, 2.5 minutes to speak. It is really long time to speak for 2.5 minutes. So what to do? When you watch the video, take good notes. It's really important. Take good notes. Write as much as you can. But it is a little bit tricky to watch a video and write at the same time because you will be confused a little bit. But it is at the beginning. If you do it 10 times, 15 times, you will get used to it. Now, Let's see, any questions? Okay. What if you finish early, or what if your words are, if your words are not finished, for example, in TOEFL, it's not a problem. But here, is it a problem or not? It is not written in the guideline. But if you are out of idea what to do, I will come to it a little bit later. So speak more, actually. But I will tell you how. Now, what examiners like? What can get you higher score? What to do? Take great notes. Actually, guys, it's really important to take great notes. Because when you watch the video and there is visual, it is better than listening because you can see it. And you will remember it because we have visual memory. Our visual memory is better than other memories. So that's why it is good. And organized answers. You must have organized answers. I will explain them here. How to organize your answers, into which sections. Then what examiners like is specific content words. Your response should have specific content. And examiners doesn't like general language. What does it mean? It means if you say good, big, bad, this is general language. Don't use this kind of language. Use a specific word. For example, if good means, let's say, speaking more than one language is good for you. Change this good into beneficial. So, first of all, you use a specific word. And secondly, you are using high level of vocabulary because good is A1 level word, beneficial is B2 level word. So it means that it actually helps you to score higher if you get rid of those vocabulary in your language, like good, bad, big. Instead of big, you can say important, significant, but it depends on the context as well. So be careful about it. Master your timing. What does it mean? The student asked, what if I don't have enough answer, or I have longer answer? That's why at home, practice it. Use your phone, use the questions, answer to them. If you see that you are speaking too much, shorten it. If you see that you are speaking shorter, your speech is not enough, please try to make it longer. Again, I will give you some recommendation. I will make some recommendations. Sentence variety, simple, compound, complex sentences. Please use them in your speech. So you can ask how. Most of you have taken YDS exam. And in YDS lessons, we have great grammar lessons. So about compound sentences, complex sentences, noun sentences, etc. I have seen them, and they're really great lessons by Ümit Hoca or Tijen Hoca. So use them. What they have taught you, try to use them. Discourse markers. Discourse markers are those we talked before in writing, however, moreover. But speaking discourse markers are a little bit different than writing. Writing is more academic. For example, in writing, if you say moreover, in speaking, say what's more on top of that. Also, this kind of a little bit simpler ones and more daily ones. Then questions can be from like in different types. For example, personal preference. In your guideline, it says, which one do you prefer, to be employee or employer? So the same thing. It can be long, it can be short. Prefer. And when I ask this question, students always use I prefer, I prefer, I prefer. You can use some synonyms. I'd rather. I would say I would go for that, for example. I like, I enjoy. I think it is better option. Then agree, disagree. Question type. Yeah, opt for. Great word. It's C1 level, I think. Opt for. We have it in our text. Yes, agree, disagree. So if you have agree, disagree, what can you do? Again, we will have some structure. I will show you. Describe, explain, it can be. Describe a person who had a great influence on your life. You are describing that person. So, which words to know? Personal adjectives. Imaginary idea, if questions. If you could change one thing about the past 10 years, what would it be? So, this question asks you about imaginary situation. You are going to use conditional sentences. Actually, each question has a function about grammar. If the question is if, it wants to know, do you know conditional sentences? If you know, to what extent do you know? For example, do you use conditional one, which is present simple? Will. Do you know conditional two, second conditional, zero conditional? And also, do you know how to use and are you using it? Mixed conditionals. If I had seen or if I had bought, I would have. So it is mixed conditional. Conditional 3 and conditional 2. You mix them, you have past action, unreal action, result now. So that's why I repeat your grammar. Advantage, disadvantage, it is a really very nice topic. Just learn some synonyms, such as for advantage, you can use benefit, positive effect, plus side, etc. For disadvantage, you can use drawback, negative side, and minus side, negative effect, kind of words. And if you have more, you can add. Pros and cons, yeah, can be very good. Yeah, let's go. Question types, sample questions. Now, personal preference. Some people prefer to be spontaneous during their vacation. Others prefer to carefully plan out everything. Which do you prefer and why? Here, you can speak about both sides, or you can speak about one side that you actually like doing. Agree, disagree. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Boys and girls, this is your statement actually. This is the task part. Task part, we call it, and topic part. Topic says, boys and girls should attend separate schools. Describe a person, describe and explain. Describe a person who had a great influence on your life. Imaginary. If you could change one thing about the past 10 years, what would it be? Some students, the last one, advantage, disadvantage. Some students like to study online. What are drawbacks and benefits? Now, let's say that they asked you this question. If you could change one thing about the past 10 years, what would it be? Actually, it is a little bit difficult question. If somebody asked it me, I wouldn't know what to say. So that's why what to do? You can make up a story. Nobody is going to come and ask you, is it true about your life or not? So truth is not important, yeah? So make something up. Remember movies, remember your neighbor, remember your colleague, what happened to them. Maybe some idea can help you, can come to your mind. And the next one is, in order not to lose time, choose one side very quickly. Which one do you prefer? I prefer electric cars and also I prefer gasoline cars. Don't think two sides. Choose one. It will help you to formulate your answer. So Don't sit on the fence, we say. We call it. Yeah, get two main ideas. Now we are going to speak about structure. Why two main ideas? You will see it here. And ideally, you will finish up a couple of seconds early. It means that you have 45 seconds to prepare. Do not wait until this 45 seconds finish. Finish before that time. Why? Because it will give you confidence to start. That's why it's important, because you will take note and you will not know to speak or to start or to just write. Your mind will be in two places. It will be distracting. So the truth doesn't matter. Nobody's going to come to your house and ask, why did you say it? If it is not really. Okay. Now the structure. There are many structures, templates. One of them is this one. So the question asks you something. You're going to say something. It means your topic statement, your idea, main idea. Which one do you prefer, electric car or gasoline car? Topic statement. I will give simple sentence. I prefer electric car. This is my topic sentence. I can make it, of course, higher level, but I will go simple. First reason, it's environmental friendly. Supporting detail. It doesn't emit any carbon dioxide, which is really harmful to the environment. I supported my idea. Second reason, electric cars are very fashionable nowadays. Supporting detail. As a trendy person, as a person that I follow trends, I think it's important for my self-confidence. So I supported my fashion. And concluding sentence, statement. So that's why I prefer electric cars. So as simple as this one. You can ask, teacher, why two reasons? Can I say only just one reason and go? Yes, of course you can. But believe me, I tried it with my students. It is difficult to speak about one reason for 1 minute. 60 seconds. When we are at home, it is not big time. But when it is in the exam to speak, it is big time, believe me. My students they have to speak for 2 minutes. They speak for 1 minute and they say that finished, no idea. So that's why two reasons. Try to find two reasons very quickly. Next question is preference question, template one with two reasons. We had a look at it. Now we're going to see the, excuse me, we're going to see the sample answer. Would you prefer to work at one job your entire life or to switch jobs every 5 years? Explain your response with details and examples. Topic statement. Better to switch jobs every 5 years. First reason. Old job, if it is old one, it is boring. New one is exciting. So both sides I'm talking about. Work at school in New York, example, personal example. Worked at school in New York by 5 years. Tired of it. So that's why it supports the main idea. Second reason, and supporting detail, moved to Japan and started teaching, motivated, learned new things. This is my second reason. Concluding sentence, opt for changing my job every 5 years. Opt for here means choose. I prefer, I choose. Now, this part is actually your note-take part. So you note-take here. Now, you have this structure, the same structure, and you are making a speaking. It means that you are formulating some sentences. Here, you must pay attention to your grammar, to your vocabulary, but still it is speaking. Do not use highly, difficult words. They are not important. For example, don't use Some students use which word very often. So you don't need to use a lot of difficult words here. Use the words that you know how to use them. Let's listen, please. And tell me if you can hear it.
To me, I definitely think that it is better to switch jobs every 5 years because old jobs get boring and new places are exciting. I remember when I worked at a school in New York, and at first, everything was new and interesting. But by the 5th year, I was tired of taking the same train to go to the same building every day. On top of that, starting a new job is a new opportunity. For example, after my job in New York, I moved to Japan and started teaching English to children, which was completely different. It motivated me to learn and expand my knowledge. So, to sum up, if I had to choose, I would definitely opt for changing my job every 5 years.
Now let's see some vocabulary. To me, please use, when you start, use your opinion word. To me, it means you are going to say your opinion. I definitely, actually, to tell the truth, to be frank, frankly speaking, kind of words. You have it here. I have written, don't worry. Yes. Then, do you have any difficult words? Exciting is B1 word. By the way, it's not exciting, it's exciting. Everybody says exciting. I don't know why. Exciting, S. It is C. Yes, then I'm just looking through difficult words, but I cannot see. On top of that, so it means you are adding second reason to the first reason. You have the same kind of idea. Then, if I continue, I can see only at the end, motivated, expand my knowledge, collocation, and opt for. I cannot see very difficult words. What about the level of this speaking? This speaking is higher than medium speaking. So it is like B2 speaking again. At the end, you have so sentence. It means you are summarizing your speaking. You don't need a big summary because it is just, this speaking is just for 45 seconds. But try to speak for 1 minute, please. Then, by the way, somebody asked about materials. Materials will be shared on Ümit Hoca's Telegram page because we prepared a link to give you. You could get all the materials, but unfortunately, I cannot send it to you. I cannot send this link to you. So that's why tomorrow I will send everything on Ümit Hoca's Telegram page. If you have my Telegram page, you can get there as well. I will share them. Now, next question. Preference question template 1 with 2 reasons. Some people prefer to read physical books made from paper, while others prefer to read electronic books on a digital device. Which do you prefer and why? Let's just listen. I don't want to lose a lot of time.
Personally speaking, I prefer to read real physical books, not ebooks. I remember when I was a child and my father bought me a copy of the new Harry Potter novel. The Sorcerer's Stone, I think was the name. And I can still feel that book in my hand. The crisp sound of the page turning, the smell of fresh paper, and even the weight of the book resting in my lap as I learned more about Hogwarts. Also, when I have a book sitting on my shelf, I'm more likely to read it. I've tried using an e-reader before, and I just download a bunch of books that I still haven't read. That's why I would much rather read a book I can hold.
Next, you have actually another type of template. So if you don't have second reason, you only have first reason, what to do? Topic sentence, first reason, supporting detail 1, second reason, no, it's again 2 types. But here what we do, mention, this one is a little bit different, sorry. mention the alternative. What does it mean? The question is, let's say, some people prefer to be spontaneous during their vacation. Others prefer to carefully plan out everything. Which do you prefer? So it means that I'm going to talk about both sides, to be spontaneous and to be careful planner. So I'm going to talk about both sides, not only mention the one side and give two reasons. That's why in this case, I can make my speaking a little bit longer to gain time. Every time transition word, personally speaking kind of words. When you are going to give first reason, you can say firstly, to begin with, first of all, first, even you can say. Then you mention the alternative option, then refute it. Refute means that say it, then say that, no, I don't like it. That means refute it. And support, of course. Every time we should support. Support means that, for example, if you say that I need to take e-TEP exam, the question comes to my mind, why? Why do you need it? So say why. If I take e-TEP exam with a high score, I will get promotion at work. Or I will go abroad and work there. Or I will enter some university, etc. So reason, supporting your reason. Again, transition word, second reason, and explain your reason in detail. Restate the topic, the same thing. But here, the difference is to say the opposite option and refute it, to say no. Now let's listen to that kind of one.
Personally, I prefer to be spontaneous during my vacation. First of all, spontaneity adds excitement and a sense of adventure. When you carefully plan everything, the trip becomes predictable, and that can take away some of the enjoyment. However, if you embrace spontaneity, each day offers surprises, which keeps the experience fresh and exciting. Secondly, being spontaneous allows for greater flexibility. For instance, last year when I visited Paris, the weather unexpectedly caused the Eiffel Tower to close. Since I hadn't strictly planned out my itinerary, I quickly adapted and found another amazing activity instead. This flexibility made my trip more enjoyable, which is why I prefer spontaneous vacations.
Here we have the blue part, which is the other opinion, other option. I said and I refuted it. When you carefully plan everything, the trip becomes predictable and it can take away some of the enjoyment. So that's why I don't prefer it. If you look at this answer, you have some higher level vocabulary here. For example, greater flexibility, good. Unexpectedly, good. Itinerary is your plan, travel plan. Adapted, flexibility, etc. So they are not just quite hard words, such as tantalizing, repercussion, kind of things, but for speaking, it is really good. So, what to avoid? Please avoid long-winded openings or winded openings. When you start, say only one main idea, then try to explain it. Do not speak about the question about your opening for a long time. It's not good. So, main idea, explain it. That's all. Idea non-development. When you say something, and sometimes it happens, somebody says something, I went to Italy, and you're waiting for something this person will continue, such as, I have been to Rome and Venice. Oh, I used some gondola. I used it for traveling around Venice. As you know, there is water everywhere. You are waiting for it, expecting that person to speak about it. But this person says, I went to Italy. That's all. So no idea development. So that idea should be developed. Off-topic response. If you are talking about different topic rather than which is given to you, it's not good. It is task achievement. You didn't achieve the task because they asked you to speak about this topic. You are talking about different topic. So it's task achievement, task response in e-TEP, and you are not doing it. So please pay attention. Speak about the thing which is given to you. For example, the question says, if people do not recycle, they should be fined. And in response to it, you say, yes, if people do not recycle, they should be fined. Also, we can save the environment with other options, such as using less electricity. Electricity is not related to recycling and is not related to fine. So this is different topic. Focus on the recycling. Yes, recycling is very good, especially we have to recycle paper and plastics. It will be beneficial for the environment. So speak about this one. And if people don't do, they should pay some money to government to help environment in this way at least. Yes, vocabulary repetition. It happens to everybody. You repeat the same vocabulary. Why? Because we use something which is near our mouth. So if you have some words in front of your head, it comes to your mouth very easily. Why? Because they are active vocabulary. So it means that the words that you know, but when you read, you know them. But when you speak, you cannot formulate them. They don't come out. It means that they are passive vocabulary. So make them active. How to make them active? Write sentences, say those sentences, and they will become active. Use them, that's all. Repeating the question, don't repeat it, please. And low volume speech, don't just speak normally. Also, it happens that students, when they start with really with a high speed, fast, and then they slow down when they get to the middle because ideas are finishing, vocabulary is diminishing. So don't do it. Keep the same speed. Tell yourself, keep the same speed. Speak as you speak daily in your own language. It is the best one. Yes. Here in the speaking, we have some problems, such as in this speaking. This is the speaking part, and these are the problems in here. Ideas are unclear and uncertain. Maybe not good. It is hard to say. I guess these are not exact words. Good, bad, better stuff. Repetitive, simple words, and they are general words. We don't use them. People text or go on social media and stuff. This word is not good. Briefly mentioned ideas are not fully explained or elaborated. So, why? Because the person's level of speaking is low. That's why. And here I have some features of an improved answer, how to improve the answer, what kind of problems you have and how can you improve them. These are all the same. I want to show, because of lack of time, I want to show you these ones. Phrases to make your speech fluent and boost your score. Introductory phrases, I think, I believe, to begin with, etc. Opinions, mostly you will have opinion, maybe, questions, so you can use them. Examples, conclusion phrases. So, as you can see, to make a long story short. So, to use idioms such as to make a long story short, to use idioms or not? Yes, to use, if you are sure about them. And when you take notes, start taking notes before the timer starts. As soon as you start listening to them, start taking notes. And what can help you? When everybody speaks at the same time, it is too noisy. If you want your speech to be clean, and to help the examiners, you can wait a little bit. It happens. Actually, when I started to speak, I saw that everybody finished. I didn't do it on purpose, just I was a little bit late. So that's why you can use it as well. Your speech will be clean. And at the end, we have some questions. So I'm going to send this to you. Today I said that you will speak, but unfortunately our time is up. Please learn this at home. Work on it, on this document, especially on this speaking document. And tomorrow we will have, I think, the whole lesson, maybe even. I would be generous. We will have speaking lesson. You can ask how. I will allow you to speak one by one. And then I will make notes of your mistakes and how you can improve them. I will tell you. Now, about something was in my mind I wanted to talk about. Yeah, somebody asked if I finish earlier. So you're going to watch a video and you're going to speak about that video. But also they will ask you a question. Let's see it on a guideline, okay? That question is also important. Let me see this one. Yeah, this one. Is it writing? Yeah, writing. Yes, this question part is important. Do not skip any instruction, please. Briefly summarize the main ideas of the video in your own words and discuss the possible effects of happiness classes on students' academic performance. Now, you should add your own ideas too. If you see that you have to speak for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. If you see that for 2 minutes you can speak about this video at home, of course, you need to take some TRT World videos and work on it. If you speak about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you need to speak about your own opinion. You can add your own ideas. Let's say that in 10 seconds you finished, or maybe you spoke 1 minute and 30 seconds, you have 1 minute. Your idea is finished. Try to use this topic generally in Turkey. Then you see that you still have time. Talk about past. You already talked about present. It is called PPF method. It means past, present, future. You already talked about present. So talk about past. People used to do something in the past. And talk about in the future. About the future of this. If we had this could happen. So use some conditional sentences to help you boost your score. Yeah, you can add this kind of PPF method as well. Or you can add, it depends on the topic, of course, you can add, if they carried out these happiness classes all over the world, students will become, or pupils would become happy, and they would be successful in their academic fields. Yes, let me see your questions. Do you have any questions, please? Yes, every speaking part is evaluated separately by 2 examiners. If, for example, examiner A gives you 4, examiner B gives you 2, the difference is big, or 1, the difference is big, they will invite the 3rd expert examiner. Then this 3rd person will evaluate your speaking as well. And they will come into general score. They will give you 1 score at the end. Yeah, any questions, please? And evaluation list, please analyze it. All of you have it. So analyze it before going. Okay, no questions. So that's all for today. Hope to see you tomorrow. We will have speaking practice lesson tomorrow. See you. Bye. Take care for now.